And one of the tricks of politics is to actually drop important information that you'd rather people didn't notice at times when they're most likely to be missed by the media. The late Friday afternoon drop, it's a classic. It usually won't make the evening news, and often it won't even make the Saturday papers because all the media is too busy to notice it. And you can also make the drop during times of crisis so that everyone's attention is focused elsewhere. The same can be said during times of festivities, like the Christmas season. But our regular hidden agenda sleuth, Nicolle Flint, she never rests, and she's found one such hard left government-funded propaganda outfit has done exactly that. Guess who? No surprises, it's their ABC. Nicolle, great to have you on the show. Tell me, what have the ABC done this time?
Well, the home of diversity, Cory. What do we expect from them?
Well, diversity, what do they think? They believe diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War or something like that.
Yep, that's right. So, of course, they've done, as you've just described, what all good, governments who are in strife or corporations who are in strife do. They've dropped some important information when no one is paying attention. So the ABC board have just announced a couple of days ago that they have updated their code of practice, Cory. They have updated the provisions in the code of practice that relate to balance and bias. And they have also, and I found this one really interesting, they have instructed their journalists about the difference between reporting, analysis and opinion. Now, Cory, you and I are not trained journalists. We have strong opinions, and that is why we are here sharing our strong views with our wonderful audience at home. But the ABC is supposed to employ trained journalists. So why are they having to explain in great detail the difference between reporting, analysis and opinion?
Can I play devil's advocate here? Do you think they're actually trying to change the culture at the ABC for the better?
Sure, and they will fail because numerous boards have failed in this task, as we've seen over decades now, Cory. There was actually no problem with their code of practice and with their rules about balance and bias and things like that. They just don't uphold them,
That's
Cory.
Exactly right.
So some ABC bureaucrats have spent probably, 12 or 18 months updating the code of practice. And I bet you anything, we will not see one single change. We will continue to see people bringing successful defamation claims. We will continue to see them not presenting both sides of the argument, even though they are claiming that they will.
I think that's exactly right. They'll ignore their code of practice and fail to comply with it, and we'll complain all the time. You will be. I'll be complaining less. You've struck some real winners this year on this segment, this hidden agenda segment. You've uncovered some really fascinating stuff, including you exposed the minister who's got no work in the Minister for the Republic and has done nothing in that respect. You've deplatforming by big technology. You've exposed the Labor government in South Australia, forcing them to backflip on cancelling Anzac Day, which is our way of describing what they did.
Yes.
What do you think's been the most important achievement or thing that you've exposed on behalf of the Australian people?
Well, I think it's a combination of all of those things, Cory. We called this the hidden agenda for a reason. You and I have looked at and talked about the things that government don't necessarily want us to know, or bureaucrats don't want us to know. We've done a lot of talking and given our strong opinions on climate change and the way that the federal Labor government is spending billions and billions and billions of dollars of our taxpayers' money, of our audience at home, their money, to deliver more unreliable power and more expensive power. And, we saw the Prime Minister just put out this random little video spruiking what he has apparently achieved this year. And what he has achieved is to send Australians backwards. Everyone is struggling with cost of living prices and power. When they promise to bring down power prices, that is one of them, Cory.
I've actually got that video and I actually really want to have a look at it and show it to the people at home. So here it is.
2023, the Matildas inspired a nation. Australians dominated Hollywood. Vegemite turned 100. It's been a big year.
Barbie, Vegemite and Matildas. That's his claim to fame. He's had nothing to do with any of them, but that's been a big year. What a dud Prime Minister.
Well, and Cory, you didn't play we don't have time to play the rest of his 2.5-minute video. Essentially, when I watched it, I was like, this is a long list of how the federal Labor government have wasted taxpayers' money. So, they're spruiking, cheaper childcare, more medicine on the PBS, power, more renewables, all of that sort of stuff. This is all our money, Cory, and people are struggling. Mortgage prices are going through the roof. Rental prices are going through the roof. There is a housing crisis. Power bills are going through the roof. And Albo does this little video talking about, sport and movies and telling us exactly how the federal government has wasted taxpayers' money.
Think about all of those things you mentioned. Wherever they go in and throw a subsidy, whether it be for childcare or education, our system goes backwards. People still pay more. They just put the prices up by more. It's no more affordable than it was. The education system is going backwards, even though they're throwing more money into it. The power system, apparently, it's getting worse. I mean, the power bill doubled. Mine did effectively last month when I got the bill. Everything they touch, they turn to custard.
Yes. Yeah, and they will continue to do so. And we should note the thing that he didn't mention was the voice. There was no mention of the failed voice referendum, let alone the actual reason that we had the voice debate, which should be fixing Indigenous disadvantage in remote and regional and rural areas, because I believe that is what every single Australian actually wants to see, rather than this failed experiment on creating, potentially a third sort of chamber of federal parliament.
By the beard of Zeus, I agree with you.
Okay.
Now, what's your big prediction for 2024?
Well, unless things radically turn around for the federal Labor government, I think we will not see a federal election. But a week is a long time in politics. They've got until May 2025 to hold the next election. But, I assume they were thinking, the voice will be a raging success. We'll win. We'll call an early election like Hawke did in 84. He was elected in 83, went to another election in 84. I would suggest that's got to be off the table for federal Labor unless their political fortunes suddenly turn around. And I can't see that happening, because Peter Dutton is doing a great job of holding them to account. And
Labor don't have an agenda that
no
resonates
agenda
with the Australians.
Apart from spending more of our money, Cory.
Yeah, and not spending it wisely. The best thing they could do would be to support those people who are paying tax by giving us some tax cuts.
Support businesses.
Yeah,
Let business get on with business.
Get rid of the black, the red, the green.
Let's have some proper power, like nuclear.
Here,
gas.
You should be running the country, or at least the state, Nicolle Flint. And maybe that might happen in 2024. We'll wait and see.
I don't think so, no.
Merry Christmas to you. Thank you so much for your contribution to this show. It has been a fan favourite. I see that on Twitter. Everyone says how great you look and how intelligent you are, and they always ignore me.
Oh, that's not true, Cory.
It's true, Nicolle. They contrast you and I. And you're the winner every time.
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry I didn't bring any bugs like Senator Antic, but I'm sure Mum and Dad, who are your #1 fans who are watching at home, can organise some crayfish.
Special lady, Nicolle Flint. I look forward to catching up. Merry Christmas to you, and thank you for joining me.